Yeah, all of those would be, there's 4 of them. And you have one under adjournment
That's,
too.
I mean, we don't usually say, we literally say. Because when you document the meeting, it goes around the meeting.
What if I made a suggestion that if the corrections to the minutes does not change the meaning of the vote or the context or whatever, if it's just minor, a misspelling or something was written twice or whatever, but it doesn't change the context or the meaning, please get back to Carrie in advance so we can take care of that. If it's something that is a substantial change to the meaning of what was done, then that would be more appropriate to bring up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, that's why I have a substantial change in
Okay.
Under the finance property, committee supply meeting, October 7th, 2025, under Stephen Yerger, if you look down between the Pledge of Allegiance and public comment, there was no acknowledgement that Steve Yerger gave of why we had an executive session on September 15th.
That would be a significant suggestion. Thank you for that.
So I know his exact words because it's on video, but my point is, I looked at it, there's nothing to acknowledge there. Another thing I would like to say, while we're on that subject of why Stephen said what he said, information regarding potential claims against the district, that's all good. I disagree with that because, to me, that executive session was to attack me. It wasn't about any of this.
I don't think I would have had that information too.
No, you didn't. I'm not saying you, but I'm disputing the statement that Steve made in the FPNS meeting because it was to attack me, which needs to stop.
Hold on a second.
It was. And I got up to leave.
All right, I'm reclaiming the floor. You didn't leave until the conclusion of the executive.
No, I got up to leave.
You did not leave until the conclusion. However, I would caution you from...
Nothing was said.
From going into content
Didn't.
of things that were said
Didn't.
in the executive session.
Didn't.
Well,
Didn't. Nick, attacking me is not executive
we're
session.
both not going to talk at the same time. I'm going to talk, and you're going to listen, and I'll let you talk. So, I'm going to caution you there. The executive session announcement that Steve read will be added to the minutes.
Sure.
And I would once again state that these types of changes, like I think just about every change that's been proposed could have been taken care of before this meeting, and we wouldn't have had to erase this. If you're insisting on doing that, then we're down.
Well, like I said, I disagree with the statement that Steve made in the meeting, which is going to be put in the minutes.
Well, to jump in there though, the minutes record what happened. If that was the statement that was made, that's the statement that goes in the minutes, because that's what happened.
Correct.
Yes,
I agree.
So at the next meeting, when those minutes come up, you could say, you could either vote no, or you
Correct.
could say, I want it reflected in this meeting's minutes that I disagree with the way
Okay.
the minutes
Okay.
are read.
Okay.
That's fine. That gives you an avenue.
That
there,
works.
But it has to accurately reflect what occurred in the meeting, not whether you agree with it.
Okay.
That's the point of the minutes.
Okay. So under discussion of the minutes, that's when I want to bring that up. In the next week's meeting.
After motion and second, discussion on the minutes,
Right.
that's where that.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I would like to make a Sunshine Act challenge then, please.
State your objection.
Again, that's not specifying the subject and scope of the executive session. So therefore, you're violating the Sunshine Act challenge. It's not specific to say of the subject to say potential legal. That's actions. That's no different than just saying legal actions. That's why I challenged it before you went into executive session that night, and now coming back. And the solicitor said that he would that at the next meeting we would hear the scope of that of what was discussed at the agenda at the executive session, and we still have not heard a specific scope. And actually, you know, if Mr. Sullivan's assertion is that that's not even what was discussed, wasn't a legal, pending legal action, it was,
Give us Mr. Sullivan's assertion, just give us
okay,
what
wait,
section of the
can I-
Sunshine Act you violated.
that same, the list of 8 reasons why you can have an executive session does not include to discuss the behavior of a board member.
So,
That is not one of the 8 listed reasons that are valid for executive session. That's that's part of my challenge. The other challenge was that we cannot speak at the same time, so I'll wait till y'all are finished.
Finish your objection, please.
Thank you. It wasn't one of the 8 reasons provided in the Sunshine Act if it's to go after board members' behavior. 1. 2, that you still did not specify the scope of the legal discussions that you were having. You just gave you went from saying for legal discussion to pending legal discussion. Specific scope would be, for example, when you said we discussed litigation brought by Ms. Johnson. That was that was a specific, discrete reason for executive session. Thank you.
Okay, the objection will be noted in this evening's minutes. First of all, the time for that objection would have been during the meeting where the executive session announcement was made, not tonight.
I did.
However,
No, when Steve read it.
however, before us tonight, this is just a review of upcoming agenda items. We are not taking action under this. So we can resolve this by saying we will take it under advisement and review the minutes again before these minutes are up for vote at next week's meeting.
Okay, then I'd like to make another Sunshine Act challenge which says I can object
State your objection.
I can object at any time to a perceived violation of the Sunshine Act challenge, whether it was last week, whether I happened to be in the room or not. What if I wasn't in the room or not when you promised he was going to read the thing? It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Perceived
you are
within
correct.
30
Ms.
days.
Johnson, you are correct that you may object, and we're required to acknowledge the objection, record it in the minutes, rule on the objection, and if it's not impermissible under the law, we can move on after recognizing and resolving it. That's exactly what we just did.
You didn't resolve it. You didn't
We did.
resolve whether
We
it was
said
the
It's not an action item before us this evening. We are not voting on these minutes this evening. We will review and take it under advisement, and if we need to update the minutes, we will. But either way, it does not prohibit us in any way from continuing our meeting at this time. So
Okay,
we're
I'll
going to do
object
so.
next week. Thank you.
The objections are removed. Moving on. Can we go to finance, property, and supply now?
Yeah.
All right. And I would also state that I'm unaware of how any members of the public would be able to comment on the topics that were discussed in an executive session and try to state that they are different than what was announced.
I just said why.
Well, Nick, I mentioned it in my complaint.
Which I told you was inappropriate.
Well, but that's what everybody in this audience heard. What I just said is what she's commenting off of.
Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
Thank you. All right, finance, property, and supply committee report. We have the Fellowship of Christian Athletes to use the man's classroom on Tuesday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. beginning October 21st, 2025 to May 26th, 2026. Is there any questions or comments or anything like that? Okay. The snow removal proposal from Eric's Building and Investigations is something that we do every year. We renew this contract to add to, above and beyond what our facility and manager, the plows and stuff we have on the district. If it's a huge snow, we have the option to bring these people in. Are there any questions or thoughts on
I
that?
have a question.
Yes.
Is Herrick the one we use all the time, that we use in the past?
This is renewal every year, every
So we
season.
we haven't actually had the need,
We haven't had to use them in quite some time.
it's just we kind of reserve a piece of it.
Just need a backup.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you. So on the Herrick proposal,
glad we haven't had to use it. Is this the same one we've had in the past? This current writing?
I believe so.
Okay. I asked that question only because I'm just concerned why we would entertain a proposal that specifically says that they're offering these hourly rates but are not offering availability guarantee. The school district requires a guarantee of availability and performance. A separate snow removal contract must be in place. Why would we accept a proposal that doesn't guarantee availability of a service that we're trying to acquire? In other words, we're looking for someone to do snow removal for us in the event that we ever should need it, okay? I understand this is probably for heavy snow removal, but still the same. If we're looking for a company to secure to do our snow removal, and be able to rely on them, according to the way this is written, it says if the school district requires a guarantee of availability, or do we want them to be available to do the service if we were to need them and have a huge snow? And then guarantee availability and performance. And then down the bottom it says they're not responsible for any grass or landscaping repair, which we're not going to find until spring, because I'm assuming this is going to be for a huge snowfall. I'm sorry, I'm just not comfortable with the way this is written, because it could, I'm not saying it will, it could possibly set our school system up for not even having a company available, because there's no guarantee of availability.
I think they're just covering their butts in case they don't know the circumstances of what this snow is going to bring, and they're going to have other clients, but we do have our own maintenance department that
We can certainly go back and ask them for a guarantee of availability, but I'm not sure that will or will not change the rates to.
No, it will increase the rate, it says that in the paperwork.
I'm not sure what that will be, because we've always just had them on standby availability, not instant on-call availability. So I'm assuming what the request would be to have them one up.
So Donna, it almost looks like you want them to be the primary snow contractor provider. You want it rewritten so they are the provider.
I don't
And
want
they will
anything.
provide the guarantees, they will provide any repair from landscaping, they'll provide all the, because when the snow is 3 feet, 4 feet thick, you don't know where the curbs are unless they're marked beforehand, if they do a walkthrough beforehand. And, when you're moving all kinds of snow and trying to open up the district, there are going to be damages potentially. And so, if you want to rewrite on the contract and have them be the primary provider, then you can put all that language in there. But like Tom said, the rate could be significantly different.
Yeah, but aren't we taking a gamble? Because as I read this, and I read it too, it says, but not offering availability guarantees. So that's basically saying, all right, Steve, I'll show up, help you move, but I may not be there. That's not going to work. Because if you sign a contract, and any contract I've ever signed, the contract means that I'm signing, you're signing, you agree to do a certain service, you agree to pay for a certain service. Now we're just saying, well, but not offering availability guarantees. So what if it does snow really deep and Eric says, well, you're not showing up? Then why do we even sign this contract?
If it snows really deep, we're not coming to school anyway.
Well, I agree, but somebody's gonna have to move it with big
So-
equipment.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna need a big backhoe, you're gonna need a lot to move that kind of snow. And somebody's gonna have to show up.
The documents that the kind of truck on
So,
the.
I would just state from, I have been in the snow business, that they, typically what contractors will do is allot their equipment based on the number of customers that they have. They're only going to take on as many contracts as what they can reasonably do during the snow. So, and I would state that most likely the case would be that there are contracts that they're guaranteeing that they're going to be working are going to be the first priority versus just an on-call contract where that sort of thing. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just stating a possible explanation for why that may be. We can certainly ask Tom and Victor and whoever's involved with that to go back and see what language adjustments we can have made and bring that forward to the next meeting.
I mean, it's up to the board. I'm just bringing it up as my concern.
It's not gonna.
And this is basically just giving us a rate that they're not gonna gouge us when the snow comes in heavy and say, oh, it's just gonna go $500 if you want.
No, I got it.
It won't guarantee that they're gonna be here, but this is the rates they're gonna guarantee. That's,
I was born in New England and went to college in Vermont. I'm a snow lover, okay? I'm very aware of snow removal and how it happens. I'm okay, I'm good with that. What I'm not good with is having, just personally, and I only speak for myself, is having a proposal that doesn't even guarantee availability. I'm sorry, I know the rate's gonna be.
May I just suggest that, let's let Tom follow up with them, see where we're at on the priority list. My guess is, they're trying to protect themselves a little bit. I would like to think that the school would be a pretty high priority on their list. And if we do ask for a guarantee, just what that increase in rate would be. And I don't think there's been many occasions over the past few years where we've had to engage them. So let's not create a crisis if we don't have one. If we can, but let us find out more information on that and where we're at on the priority list. Good question.
And now we're gonna have a piece of.
Nobody will show up.
All right.
All right, next item, okay, we have an anonymous school lunch account that was donated. The 2026-27 Act 1 resolution. Anybody have any questions or thoughts?
That's pretty simple. We're not gonna, the board is deciding not to go above 4.5%, correct, Tom?
That's correct.
Correct.
Really? All right, the P, the student lunch account, anonymous, recognize that.
Yeah, just remember to recognize and thank you before we go.
I'm sure everyone up here.
All right. The change orders, under E, change order 133, the band room sound system, $32,890.87. Change order 34, choral room sound meter system, $32,890.87. And change order number 3, it's change order number 35, excuse me, the music room upper learning commons sound system, $32,890.87.
Steve, for those that weren't here at the committee meetings last week, Tom or whoever you designate, Judy, can you just give the full board a brief update on that?
Yeah, so the music spaces, the band room, choral room, and music room, we're going through several iterations of design. Through that several iterations of design, the sound systems were noted that they were not upgraded. Dr. Raymond said at FBNS they were kind of piecemeal together for years with secondhand equipment. This is opportunity to provide a sound system within those spaces that they've never had before. That's kind of the summary.
Yeah, and when they started tearing out the ceilings and redoing some of the wiring and things in those 3 areas is when they just, well, mostly the 2 areas, because the middle school will be coming up into the 3rd area. But same situation with Nikhil's room as well. So when they started tearing the ceilings out, they realized that our band and music and choral rooms don't really have sound systems. That they have had items donated or gifted or things that they've brought in from home over the years, and they've just been like piecemealing it all together and making it work. I think I used the example at FPNS that in Adam Bishop's room, he has 2 old, really old style, it makes me think of when I was growing up, old style music stereo speakers on his wall, and that's what he's using as part of his sound system right now. And he had it wired into some other, like mics and things like that. So, like, they don't have, like, they don't even have Bluetooth capability right now in their room. So, with the original package that RLPS first gave us, we went to Mr. Vish, Mr. Lobal, and Mr. Patero, and they really whittled it down to just the bare necessities. And I think I also shared last week that the majority of that fund is not equipment, it's installation. The equipment is like a fraction of that, but it's really when Lobar put it out to bid for the equipment to be installed, I think we were all a little shocked with the amount we came back for the installation.
And do not to interrupt you, but can we clarify for the public who's listening to this meeting, we are talking about the high school?
It'll be the secondary school. middle
Right,
school,
right, but
high
we're
school.
talking
Yeah,
about
yeah. Mhm.
that,
Yeah.
and I still call it the high school because
Okay, yeah,
it's not
that's
middle school yet, but you get my point.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people will say, what building are they talking about?
Yes, it is the new, and as Thomas said, it went through a lot of iterations of designing that space. So the band room, the choral room, a lot of renovations that happened in that choral room. And then the upstairs library where the tech office used to be is being turned into a middle school music room. So that had no sound system whatsoever in it. And the stuff that Michaela is using at the middle school is also piecemeal together. So for her to take secondhand and third-hand stuff that she's piecemealed over the years and then just recreate it up there, it's just not ideal. I mean, you have 3 music teachers who are trying to teach music and sound and production, and they don't even have the sound equipment to really have a quality program. Oh, I should restate that, because they do have a quality program, but they should have also the quality materials. And they did not pick top-of-the-line equipment whatsoever.
Now, a couple questions. Number one, why was this seen in renovations for the first time in 2023? Two, number one. Two, is this money, is this already sitting somewhere?
This will be coming from the change order fund. So Gil presents that, Gil presents that in part of his update to the board every month with his change order number. So that would be that's the all-in number, he has the payout, and the next number would be his change order number.
Which he said, I thought was at 900 and around 14,527. What is the max